So beginning on your back and or if you would like to stand and do some sun salutations to start your practice, you can. Otherwise, come to your back, find a little bit of movement and then some stillness. And I'll guide in just a few rounds of breath. So a little bit of movement or some stillness or a lot of movement if that's what you need. And then I'll guide in just a few breaths here. Okay, so interlace hands behind your head. Take the soles of your feet to the floor. Spread your toes wide. Spread all along the bottom of your foot. Really feel contact, subject and object. And then just a few rounds of pelvic tilting. Inhaling, drawing the low back away from the floor. Exhale. Press your low back into the floor. So just some movement in the pelvis, hardly noticeable to anyone else. And then you can release the hands and bring your arms out to the sides. Next time you anteriorly tilt the pelvis forward and your low back comes away from the floor, press your hips up. And then lower, slowly articulating each spine bone as you come back to the floor. So you might think of this as you inhale and press the hips up, that's the energizing movement. And then as you unfurl and roll down one vertebra at a time, that's the relaxing, coming back to more of the parasympathetic system. Okay, so we press up and we roll down. We take a few rounds just like that. Lengthening the exhale as you lower down. Next time your hips come back to the floor, draw the knees in. You could cross at the ankles. Just rock a few times side to side, sort of landing on your low back, right, then left, the kidney spaces, feeling into that area of your body at the beginning of practice here. And then set the soles of your feet back down to the floor as wide as your mat. Arms out to the side. Let your knees fall side to side in a windshield wiper action or motion. Inhale to bring the knees up and exhale. Let your knees fall to one side. Now just checking in with the sacrum, the very end of the tail end of the spine, your hips. Feeling the articulation through ankles as the soles of the feet come to the floor, and then you keep the toes pulled back towards the shins. Great. And then we'll come back to that position of comfort with the knees bent. And now you're going to need your strap. And your strap can just be open here. We'll take the strap onto the bottoms of the feet and legs straight to, whatever amount you can. They might not be completely perpendicular with the floor, but thereabouts. Keep your elbows bent so there's a little bit of work in your biceps as you pull on the strap and press your feet into the strap. Press your thighs towards the short end of your mat. Press your thighs towards the short end of your mat. Now, notice if you have your low back pressed against the floor. Can you draw your low back away from the floor ever so slightly, navel in? If you need a little help in doing this, you can let the strap slide through your hands and reach your legs. You don't have to bring your head and shoulders up, but just reach your legs towards the short end of your mat. Now you get you should feel a real significant arch away from the floor, low back. Keep that there and re-extend legs up towards the ceiling. Press your legs towards the thighs, the back of the thighs, the hamstrings. Press towards the short end of your mat, opening the back of your legs here. And you have your arms bent so the biceps are getting a little bit of engagement. Great. And then we'll release the legs all the way to the floor. You can just let your strap slide through your hands. Bring your legs to the floor. Stretch through both heels. And while you're doing that, grab your blocks and bring your blocks right beside your hips. You're not going to exactly know what height you need them at yet, but just bring them back, and then you should still have your strap on your feet. Just lift your legs back up, and we'll start with the right foot in to the strap. Left leg goes long. Take your strap in your left hand and just bring your right leg across your mid body, resting on your elbow. And now as you do that, you could take your right hand right on your hip pointer and encourage your hip away. So the upper thigh bone, the head of the femur is reaching towards the short end of your mat. That feels a lot different when you get that shape to happen. And just one more breath cycle here. Then inhale, take the leg back up, take the strap in your right hand, and now you're going to bring your left leg into Baddha Konasana, and then your right leg is going to open out to the right. Now, you want the blocks at any height, I'm going to go medium height, to support right leg out to right and left leg in Baddha Konasana. Have your blocks be at the same height so that your hips stay level. So I've got my blocks on the medium level. You might be on the bottom level or the top level, but hips are level, even, right leg long, left leg in Baddha Konasana. Notice what's happening now in the rest of your body. Can you breathe and let your exhale be long? Keep the back of your neck long. And just allow this to be both effortful and with some ease. Next, inhale, bring the right leg back up to center. Then we'll flip it out. We'll take the left leg into the strap. Right leg long. First, we come across, so if your block's in the way, you just scoot it out of the way for this part. Bring your left leg across midline, taking your strap in your right hand and bending at the elbow so you have a little kickstand there. And then draw your hip, your left hip, down towards the short end of your mat. So you're trying to almost make some space between your hip pointer and your rib, your low ribs there. Draw the head of the femur You're down towards the short end of your mat. Excuse me. And one more breath cycle here. Great, then next inhale, bring the left leg back up. Set your blocks back up. More than likely, you'll go about the same height. Left leg now comes out to the left. Right leg in Baddha Konasana with the blocks right underneath your thighs, the upper thigh there. So block at the same height for both sides so that your hips are level. And pull toes back towards shins on that extended leg. And see if you can relax into this. So there's some effort here for sure, but see if you can lengthen your exhale. Maybe even take your right hand to your tummy. Talked about this last week, and just press into your tummy slightly and feel the stimulation of your vagus nerve, which helps you come back into parasympathetic nervous system. Back of the neck is long, so tuck the chin in slightly. Great, next inhale, take the left leg back up to center, both feet back in the strap. Now reach your hands as close as you can towards your feet so the arms are straight. Bring your low back away from the floor slightly. Draw your navel in, press into the strap with your feet, toes back towards shins. Open up the back of your legs. One more round of breath. And slowly just release. You can let the strap slide through your hands. Leg can stay straight or bend your knees and just take your strap now over to the side of your space. Roll to one side, press yourself up, and stack your blocks so that you can sit on your blocks. We're going to sit with the feet on the floor. So you could also be in a chair for this. Right, we want to just be up off the floor a little bit. So we're going to do some cat-cows in this position. So if you think about opening everything, so we open the legs and we open the chest and we draw the shoulders back and down and we lift the gaze, that's going to be the inhale. And then on the exhale, bring everything together, knees together, round the back, tuck the chin. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And just continue that. It's really just like cat-cow on our hands and knees, but we're just doing seated and adding a little bit of movement with the legs. And then the next time you do a full round, just come to sort of a neutral position. You're going to need one block for your hands now. And one, you can sit in Virasana on the second block, or if that's not comfortable for your knees, take Sukhasana, or you could be in a chair. But we'll take the one block now. And we're going to bring the block out in front of our body and squeeze the block with an open palm. So we're not grabbing the block, we're going to squeeze the block with an open palm, somewhere between 30 and 50%. Take a couple rounds of breath. Your arms are parallel to the floor and to one another if possible. Next exhale, we'll swing over to the right, squeezing the block and twisting to the right. And inhale back to center. And exhale. And inhale. Then above the head on the next inhale, squeeze the block. And exhale, just let the block come all the way down and rest on your thighs. Okay, so back again, we'll do this a few times. Inhale to the side, exhale back to center, or exhale to the side, inhale back to center. Just get a little rhythm. So squeezing the block, twisting right, keep squeezing the block, back to center, twisting left, back to center, overhead, all the way down to the thighs. One round of breath to bring you back to a really settled, relaxed state. So even though we're not doing a big vinyasa, this is work, right? So block out in front, squeeze the block. We're doing a lot of work here. Twist to the right, back to center, twist to the left, back to center, block overhead, pressing against the block. Exhale, slowly lower the block down and take a round of breath, accentuating the exhale. Great, then you can set that block to the side, bring your arms out to a T. Inhale, on your exhale, you're going to twist to the left and bring your right hand over towards your left hand, and then slide your right hand all the way across your chest, open back up into a T. Twisting to the right, bring your left hand towards your right hand. Maybe you can get your palms together, I can't. And then slide your left hand across your chest, opening up. Over to the left, slide it back open. Over to the right, and slide it back open. Over to the left, and right hand across the chest. Over to the right, and left hand across the chest. One more time in each direction. Good, now you feel the arms fatiguing a bit. Slowly lower the arms. Fingertips touch the floor. Take 2 rounds of breath. Great, now that second block, wherever it is, let's bring that to the right side of our body, right side of our hips. And your hand it can be on any level that you need it to be. We'll take the right hand to the block and inhale, left arm up and over. Then just come back to left arm lifted towards the ceiling, and then exhale again, over to the right. We'll inhale back to center, left hand, fingertips reaching towards the ceiling, and exhale, bending through your right elbow, leaning over. Now, can you sense that your left sit bones are just really reaching towards the block you're sitting on or the floor? Keep them, both sit bones, nice and connected. Then inhale back to the starting position. Exhale, both arms down to your sides. Switch the block. Left side, inhale the right arm up and exhale over. Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, side bend. Keep the right sit bones really grounded. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach, 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 reach. And last one, exhale to the left. And inhale, reach the right arm up. And exhale, slowly let that arm come down. Both hands now in your lap or to your sides. Draw the back of your skull back. Bring your chin back like you're making a double chin. Tuck your chin into your chest. Slide your chin in one direction, back through center and to the other side. A couple times, really keep the back of your neck long by drawing your chin in, making that double chin. Next time you come to center, recommit to that. So draw your chin back like you're making a bunch of double chins there. Tuck your chin into your chest. And then let's go for tilting left ear towards left shoulder. Back to center, recommit. Right ear towards right shoulder. I have a little kink when I go that direction. Good. And back to center. Just relax. Take a full breath. Roll shoulders up, down, and back. And extend your exhale, coming into a little bit more of a relaxed state. Okay, so now we're going to have our blocks on the mat. Take both blocks to the front of your mat. You're on your knees to start with. And I'm going to go with my blocks at the highest level. You decide what will work for you. You might have to play around with it. And then with my hands on the blocks, on my hands and knees, I'm going to turn my toes under and press my hips up and back in a downward dog shape. Inhale to walk your feet up towards your blocks, hip distance apart. Okay, with hands on the blocks, back of my legs pressing towards the back of my mat. I'm going to lift, bring my heart through the gateway of my arms. Slight gaze, either lifting just my gaze, my eyeballs are stretching, or my head slightly. I just like to lift my gaze, really. So back is flat. Next exhale, you bend through your elbows and take your fold. Keep engaging the legs. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale to a fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale to a fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Now from here, step your right foot forward so that the toes are kind of in between the two blocks. Step your left foot back. Come onto your left knee. Allow yourself to come forward into a low lunge. Top of the back foot can be on the floor. Draw your shoulder blades down and in, opening through the chest. So here we go. Then we'll press hips back. We'll stretch in the hamstring. Come forward, opening now the front hip flexor, that left leg. And we'll work this back and forth a few times. The next time you come forward, turn the back toes under, press up into a high lunge. And then both feet back. High Dandasana on the blocks. Hips up and back, downward dog. You might have to adjust your stance. Then walk your feet forward towards your blocks. Inhale to a halfway lift. Keep squeezing muscle to bone on the legs, pressing the backs of the thighs towards the short end of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Now, if the left foot comes forward, the right foot goes back. Drop the right knee to the floor. Come into the lunge on this side. Chest is open. Shoulder blades working down the back. We go back to the hamstring stretch. Draw that left hip back. Coming forward. Bring the hips back. Draw the left hip back in space. Coming forward again, really keep the chest lifted. Shoulder blades squeeze in and back. Turn the back toes. Lift the back leg. In the high lunge here. Then step the left foot back to the right. High Dandasana on the blocks. In this effort, can you find some calm? Hips back, downward dog. Come forward onto your knees. Set your tops of your feet back, hips back to heels. You can leave the blocks where they are. Just rest your forearms on the blocks and come into child's pose. If that doesn't work for your shoulders, just take your hands to the floor. And let your back body spread. Spread here. Let your back body spread. Next inhale, press yourself back up. And now we're going to move from the floor into a Trikonasana. So blocks stay where they are. I'm going to bring my right foot forward. And I'm going to turn my left toes under and come up into that high lunge again. So I've got both hands on the blocks. Both hands on the blocks. My right foot is forward, so I'm going to slide the right block back so it lines up with the long edge of, the outer edge of my lower leg. Outer edge of my lower leg. Now, from this position, I turn my back heel down to the floor. Bring my left hand to my waist. Check it out. Now I'm in a nice open stance with my upper body, and now I just straighten the front leg. Trikonasana. Stacking shoulders. Good. Good, good, good. And holding this for 2 more breaths, tucking the right buttocks underneath. I get that external rotation in my front leg. I'm going to come out the same way I went in. So I'm going to take my top hand to my hip, turn my gaze towards my front foot. As I turn my back foot, start to bend through the front knee, both hands to the blocks. Got to move that right block back. So now I'm back in the high lunge. Okay, great. Let's try it one more time. So you're in the high lunge. I'm up on the highest setting of my blocks here. I slide my right block back. So my blocks are offset now. My right block is to the outer edge of my lower leg. I turn my back heel down. Left heel comes down. All right. Then I bring my left hand to my hip. I've got my upper body opening now. And then I straighten my front leg. Trikonasana. Feels a little different coming from the floor up to the shape than from standing down to the shape for me. And to come out, hand back to hip. I turn my body as I come onto the toes of my back foot, both hands to the blocks. Situate the blocks back. So now I'm in the high lunge again. I'm going to step both feet back, downward facing dog. Walk my feet towards my blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. Squeeze muscle to bone. Exhale, bend your elbows any amount, come into a fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. What's happening in your legs? Squeeze muscle to bone, pull the kneecaps up, 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 up. Good. Then we'll bring the left foot forward and the right foot back. We're in the high lunge. We're going the opposite direction now. Slide the left block back so that it's lined up to the outside of your left lower leg. As you turn your back foot, you can bring your top hand to your hip. It's sort of an extended side angle shape. Then we straighten the front leg and find Trikonasana. Keep your head relaxed, back of the neck long. Coming out the same way we went in, so hand to the hip, turning, back foot turns, both hands to the blocks. We'll try it again. Okay, so you're in the high lunge, slide the left block back. Now, if you're finding that wasn't enough height, you could always take the other block on top. All right, we turn the back foot. Right, here I am. I've got my two blocks stacked up now, one in the tall position and the other in the lowest position. Straighten the front leg. Find my Trikonasana. Engage the back leg. Pull muscle to bone. Engage the front leg. Front sit bones are trying to come towards the midline. So it's an external rotation in your front leg. Now, in this effort, can you find a peaceful, relaxed breathing pattern? Can you relax your neck, your jaw? Now, the same way, we'll bring hand to the hip, turn, and come into that high lunge. If you used both blocks, you get a little extra balancey work. Coming in, back to the blocks. This time, step back to high Dandasana. Press the blocks into the floor. Press yourself away from the floor. Draw your navel up and in. Find some effort, but also find some ease. Knees to the floor. Hips come back towards the child's pose. Hands can stay where they are on the blocks or come to the floor. Those of you that have been in the last few classes, if you want to try turning the palms up in this child's pose, a little bit different movement in the shoulders for sure. Then we inhale back up to all fours. We're going to take the blocks over to the side. And slide forward, coming into Sphinx to start with. Sphinx to start with. Pressing the pubic bone into the floor, tops of the feet into the floor. Great, then we just lower all the way down. Make a little pillow with your hands. Engage your legs. Resting your forehead on your little pillow, lift your right leg. And then lower that leg back down. Lift your left leg. And lower that leg back down. So back and forth a few times, lifting the right leg only, then left leg. And then we'll add the arms. So arms down to the side. As you lift your right leg, sweep your left arm out in front. And then release everything back down to the floor, including your forehead. And then sweep the right arm forward, lift the left leg, head and shoulders lifted, and then back down. And one more time on each side. And now when you come back down, make that little pillow again, resting your forehead on the pillow. You could bend your knees here, but feel your belly press against the floor. Really feel, especially on the exhale, long exhale, press your belly into the floor. Feel your belly expand against the floor and inhale. So this is activating the vagus nerve, which allows us to come back into a more relaxed state, parasympathetic. Great, then we'll come back to everything on the floor, forehead on the floor, arms alongside our bodies. We'll inhale, lift everything off the floor. So hands, palms are facing the ceiling, legs are lifted, back of the neck is long, squeeze your buttocks, and then bend through the elbows. Take your hands to your low ribs, press yourself up, reaching your hips back and your hands forward in puppy pose. And then elbows to the floor, forehead to the floor, full child's pose with the arms extended out in front. Inhale as you slide your hands towards you, come up into table, and then exhale, turn toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Squeeze muscle to bone. Walk your feet up to your hands. Bring your hands back, take your hands to your thighs, like you're peering into something, right? Like you're looking in the tide pool. Press yourself up to standing. Tadasana, arms to the side. Palms face forward, fingertips towards the floor. Take a wide stance here and just shift right and left. Just shift right and left for a couple minutes. Just relax your effort. And then we'll take this shifting into a big side bend. So left hand down, the left thigh, right arm up and over. And then the opposite direction. Back and forth. Good, and then a little twist. A little twist. What would it be like if you lifted your heel as you twisted in the opposite direction? What's it like if you lift your heel twist. So now twisting to the right, lift your left heel, then set the heel down. Come back to center, twist to the left, lift your right heel, then set your right heel down. I feel that in a different place in my back. Okay, so come back to center and just a little flow here. Then you're going to get your 2 blocks again. And you're going to bring your blocks, you're going to line up with the long edge of your mat, bring your blocks in front of you. So feet nice and wide. We'll walk the blocks out so that our arms are in sort of a downward dog orientation, and bring your hips back. So hips are lined up with heels. Take a couple rounds of breath here. Squeeze muscle to bone. Squeeze, pull the kneecaps up. Folding into this downward dog. Then slide your blocks back so that they're right underneath your sternum. Put them together. Take your left hand to the block. Inhale, reach your right arm right out in front of you, fingertips towards me. Exhale, stay. Inhale, sweep your right arm back into a twist, thumb pointing back behind you like you're hitchhiking. Exhale, hand back to the block. Inhale, reach your left hand forward, fingertips towards me. Exhale, stay. Inhale, sweep the left arm back, thumb points back behind you like you're hitchhiking. Exhale, bring your hand back to the blocks. Inhale, reach the right arm forward, right out in front of you. You're gazing at your hand. Exhale, stay. Maybe draw the head of the humerus back into your shoulder socket. Inhale, open up, twist to the right. Thumb points back behind you. Exhale, hand to the block. Inhale, left hand straight out in front of you. Exhale, stay. Inhale, sweep that arm behind you, twisting to the left. Thumb points back. Exhale, hands to the block. Both hands now on the block. Squeeze muscle to bone. Take a fold. Maybe you can bring your forearms down to the blocks. Folding, tucking chin in. Back of the legs press towards the back of your space. And then pressing yourself back up, heel toe the feet together, and come into a squat. You're going to separate your blocks a bit. So you're going to come into the squat. You're going to bring your knees towards your wrists. Knees towards wrists. So I'm on my blocks, knees in towards wrists. Then I'm pressing back onto my heels. Then I'm coming forward, rocking up, bringing my knees towards my wrists. Good. Then this last time, I'll go ahead and bring my feet together and drop, 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 bending through my knees, coming into a sitting heels, hips on heels. Hips on heels, if that works in your body. If it doesn't, just sit on a block right here. So hips on heels, turn this way, hips on heels, good. And alternately, you could be just sitting on a block, right? And then we'll come to the floor. Okay, come to the floor, take a Baddha Konasana with the blocks underneath your thighs. Try not to tug on your feet to get the length in your back. Try to draw your tilt your pelvis forward, turn this way. So you get the length. Alternatively, hands behind you. So you have a little arch in your back. Little arch in the back. Great. Okay. Now just release the left leg, keep the right leg in. So here we go. You're in the Janu Shirshasana shape. And now block comes to the outside of your lower left leg. Left leg is the one extended. Block to the outside, any position. Any position. Inhale the right arm up and side bend over towards the block, towards the left side. Press your heel into the floor and isometrically draw it back towards your sit bones, engaging your hamstring. Next inhale, sweep your arm back up. Exhale, just sit in this position, but take one round of breath. Then we go to the other side. Block is to the outside of the extended leg, which is the right leg. Any orientation. Inhale the left arm up and exhale, side bend towards the block. Feel for both sit bones grounded. Neck stays relaxed and long. If you want to, if you have the Janu Shirshasana is a pretty complex pose, but you could fold in towards your bend, your outstretched leg, or you just keep it as a side bend. Then on your next inhale, press yourself up, use that top arm, just rest your hand on your thigh and take one breath cycle. Maybe two. Now from here, we're going to come on to our back again. And you have some options. So I'll show this one first, the supported fish, because it helps to show you where the block's going to go in your back. So the block lines up with the shoulder blades, the tip of the shoulder blades, lower side of the block. I'm using the lowest setting for underneath my shoulder blades. This is supported fish. The other block goes underneath the back of my head. I usually take it to the middle setting. And here I am, heart is open. I'm supporting myself in this fish. I can keep my knees bent or take my legs long. Okay, that's option one. Supported bridge, right? So back to the position of comfort. Set the hips up, set the block right underneath your sacrum. If you want more height, I suggest 2 blocks stacked versus putting your sacrum on the skinny edges of your block. So if you want more height, you could always stack 2 blocks underneath the sacrum. Really tuck the arms under. Okay, so supported bridge. Opening the heart. So the heart is pulling forward. We're engaged in the world. But in that engagement, we find calm, we find our peace. We are both alert and relaxed. Now, third option, of course, is to go right to the Shavasana. You can take Shavasana on either of those supported postures, supported bridge or supported fish, or you come right down to Shavasana and really scan here and see how quickly you can come back to parasympathetic, that relaxed state. Extending the exhale. If you're in one of the supported postures, stay as long as you like. And then release yourself to a Shavasana shape. Scanning now, scanning your body for any place you might be holding tension. Okay, because this is what we're really working with here. How can we find these states of complete relaxation once we've energized ourselves in some way, either with a physical practice or just life, something happens and we get excited or anxious. How do we come back, toggle back, and release? So places that are common to hold, check these places out in yourself. Is there any tension in your jaw? See if you can let that go. Any pursing around your eyes or between the brow? Okay, you let that go. Relax your tongue all the way back to the root of your tongue. Another common place that we hold, because we've kind of been told to do this, is the belly. So, we're always pulling the belly in. So we do engage the belly in a lot of our postures, certainly, and a lot of the work that we do. But now, can you let your belly go? Relax your belly completely. Soft belly. Legs are heavy. Arms are heavy. Let everything go here. At a certain point, you say to the woods, to the sea, to the mountains, to the world, now I am ready. Now I will stop and be wholly attentive. You empty yourself and wait, listening. At a certain point, you say to the woods, to the sea, to the mountains, to the people, now I am ready. I will stop and be wholly attentive. You empty yourself and wait, listening. Now, if you're liking where you are, this feels really supportive to you, just stay. Put a blanket over. Take some time right here. There's no need to get up. If and when you come out of Shavasana, do so mindfully by rolling to one side, taking a few breaths there. It's with deepest gratitude that I acknowledge your presence. And this is such an important gift to me. And I thank you for being here. May the merit of our practice encourage all beings to unveil the hidden brilliance that lies within. Namaste.